which is
Absolutely.
because we're allowing the U-wing and the striker
Ooh, yes,
this
we
weekend.
are. Usually we say something has to have been out for 2 weeks before it's allowed in a competitive event of any kind.
Usually, yes, and that is usually the case, especially for premier events like Store Championships
Yep.
and especially regionals.
Absolutely.
But
but this is a casual tournament.
Yeah, we run a tournament every month, and this one is not even using a kit. We've got store credit and a few cards up on hand as prizes.
Very generous store credit, I might point out. There's been a very positive reaction from the people on the Facebook page saying
75
wow, this is awesome.
quid's worth of...
Now that is some prize pool there.
Yes.
And that's before you take into account all of the extra cards.
We have top prize is £20, then we go down to 15, 10, and then I think it's 10, 10, and 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
Absolutely, and I know from experience because I've also been the winner of a prize event in the past.
You won a Gazanti, if I recall.
I did indeed. Yes, I did indeed. Sadly, I haven't yet managed to put it on the field.
Oh.
It's so hard to get Epic Games in.
I think if you ask people there, that is finding the time.
Well, another player called Robin, we might see him on the stream tomorrow. Who knows?
Who knows?
But I know he's planning on flying some of the new ships, so increased possibility there.
Yeah.
But we were promising each other for almost a year we will play an Epic game. We all have all four of the Epic ships each. So we said, right, we'll take the 2 Imperial ships versus the 2 Rebel ships, and we'll meet in a 400-point epic deathmatch.
That does sound amazing.
And we only just got round to it just before Christmas. But it was awesome when we did so.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself with that. Which brings me to the question, because I'm tempted to, because of course I'm the event coordinator here, I'm tempted to organise an Epic tournament.
Yes, please.
It's a very unique format, so it'll probably be in addition to the normal tournament.
Yep.
And it would require some extremely fitting in.
I think,
but
are you heading towards a team epic event?
Most likely a team epic event.
I think that makes sense. Partly because I think it gives people who don't have epic ships a chance to participate.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It also means that there's more going on. With a team epic, you can coordinate. You have to coordinate with what you're bringing.
Yeah.
But I do agree that it gets more people playing epic potentially.
Yes.
And potentially people may say, well, I didn't like epic, but actually that's quite fun. I may get an epic ship. It's.
Yeah, absolutely. The Rebel Transport is actually a really good place to start. It's the cheapest of the epic ships. People look at it and think it's got no guns, but in fact it's actually very, very useful on the battlefield. And because it's cheap, it's not really that much of a point.
Yeah.
You can still fit a lot of other stuff around
that
it.
jam action is very much underrated.
Oh yes. Add some slicer tools, and you can still damage people.
Yeah, it's black market slicer tools, but worse.
Yeah, absolutely. So an Epic. We've had a really good time with that Epic game. Sadly, my the Rebel forces were not victorious against the Raider and the Gazanti, thanks to a very, very well executed mass bomber strike coming off the Gazanti in one go. Crippled the rear of my Corvette all in one go. One turn, a single turn, 4 lots of missiles.
Ouch.
That was a little bit painful, yes.
Sounds like it was painful.
But it was excellent fun and very well played.
And that's the important thing, really.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. We've been asked, because they were pretty quiet last year regarding epic ships. Mm-hmm. Will we see a Scum epic ship?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would definitely not be surprised if that happens.
Boothcam.
Okay, Boothcam, there we go. I'm getting the hang of this. I would definitely not be surprised if that happens. People have been saying it for a while, and I think the thing is, FFG they know they're good money spinners. People usually only buy one, but what they've done cleverly, ever since the Rebel Transport came out, they've started packaging a small ship and some very tasty upgrades with those large ships.
They started with the Rebel Transport, and then they did the Corvette. I think they learned from the Corvette that no one would buy it if there's not a small ship with it.
Yes.
Although there was Sikorsky C-3PO, which you can argue is probably what sold the most Corvettes for that.
Yeah.
I think they've learned, okay, if we bundle some 100-point stuff in with the epic stuff, we can, shift more copies, which is a good bit. You can complain, but it is a business strategy, which they are a business.
I'm not objecting. It gets me more spaceships.
More spaceships.
Yes, but I would very much be unsurprised if they came up with an epic Scum ship of some kind. Some people have suggested the Wild Charade.
The Wild Card.
Wild Card. That's right.
Yes.
Who is Booster Terex? Is it
no, it's Talon Card.
Talon, yes. So I'm trying to think back. I read the X-Wing novels many years ago.
Yes.
An Action 4 transport, and I think that would probably fill a kind of Gazanti role. It has got guns. It's not like the Rebel transport, the medium transport, which are completely unarmed, but it's not the full-on gunship that the Corvette or the Raider is.
We have seen some larger kind of scum ships in Rebels. We might see some of those come.
That would be another possibility.
Which is because they tend to stick with canon sources and only go into EU when they need to these days, which is understandable.
Absolutely.
Because, of course, they want to shift the current canon.
Here's the question. If you could package any small base scum ship with some upgrades for it in there, which ship would you choose? What would you like to see on there? And if you want to tell us on the stream... a Crusader gunship. I don't even know what a Crusader gunship is.
Nor do I. I've not heard of it. Maybe it's something new.
Perhaps we should Google it.
Let's Google that. Google. But no, I would do a Star Viper. Mm-hmm. I already have in my mind exactly what a Star Viper's ability would be for the title. Which,
you've mentioned this before, yeah.
You know, I trained in game design, so I can look at these things. A 0-point title, upgraded thruster array, which is a title for the Star Viper. When forming a barrel roll, you may use the one bank template. Stress tokens do not prevent you from forming a barrel roll. Which the idea of that is it can sloop and then barrel roll and get interesting arcs regarding that. I've seen that. That
does look cool. I will agree.
That is great. That's what Empire War. It's a Mandalorian ship as well, so you could bundle some new protectorates with it. Not that they need help, but
yeah, I think I would agree. The Star Viper would be my preferred choice to see it as well. I think the one tricky thing they might have with the Star Viper is there's only really 2 famous Star Viper pilots, and we've already had them in the game.
You can easily make some up.
Absolutely. I mean, so that's what they did with people like Talon Bane Cobra and so on.
Exactly.
But yes, I think FFG, whenever possible, they will try and go for an existing character.
They usually do. And they could, because I believe the faction that used this in the game was the Zahn Consortium, so they could have Tiber Zahn himself.
Yeah.
They could have Uran in, I think it was Ural in there, who was it, whatever his name. But
and
there are existing characters they can use.
Yeah, and an EPT generic would be quite nice as well.
Yes. I think out of all of them, the Star Viper and the Kizarax need the most push, but the Star Viper I think is more iconic and a bit...
It's prettier. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's the butterfly of death.
And I think more importantly, it's the ship people really want to fly and would fly if it was slightly better.
Yeah. Whereas the Kizarax strikes me as it's an
a solid base. It's a solid filler ship.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of ship you take one of and say, this is my awesome ship in the list, whereas you can see a Star Viper filling that role, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Yeah. Hawk is an interesting choice by PJ. What's the new title for the Hawk?
I'm not as convinced. The Hawk, I like the Hawk. I'm a big fan of the Jedi Knight Dark Forces games, but I think we've got some good Hawk pilots already, especially for Scum. I mean, Palav Gadali is very popular.
Yes.
Absolutely. Twin laser turret. And that's the thing. It's a turret ship. I think there's a limit to how interesting you can make
Exactly. them. I think Rebels might need a bit of a push for the Hawk, because the Hawk Rebels are not as made. Yeah. Kyle gets a lot of use. Jan, I'm seeing a few times, but not as often.
I think the problem is, for what you pay for her, you could just buy another ship.
Yeah. So why get the extra attack dice when you can just buy another ship and get 3 more attack dice?
Yeah, totally. Awesome. But I would very much like to see a Scum epic ship of some kind with another small base and maybe a fix or 2 packaged in there.
And of course, we have Wave 10 just on the horizon coming out soon.
Indeed, lots of interesting things going on there.
End of January is the date I hear, but that's from my sources. Not sure if that's true or not. Which is unusual to have a wave so close to release and hear nothing about the next wave.
Yes.
And
on the other hand, we have had a very, very high number of waves and ships in those waves coming out in recent months, haven't we?
That is true, but the next time, which would be appropriate for them to announce and release a wave, would be Gen Con, which is in August, and that's a good 6 months.
But they don't always release them just at the cons.
Usually that's when they want to release them, because that's when
you get camera phone pictures of PowerPoint presentations.
Yeah, because then they have to announce the next one for that one. So I think they need to announce, if they are going to do one, they need to announce one soon. Maybe for a release sometime in Gen Con.
Well, of course, we've got 3 different types of waves of release as well. Yes. We've got the epic ships, we have the Aces packs, Mm-hmm. Now, we have seen Imperial veterans.
Yes, we've talked to this.
I really want to see a Rebel veterans come out at some point, or equivalent, assuming that the Heroes of Resistance wasn't that. But we've been talking about this for ages. We want to see an X-Wing boost.
I want to see an E-Wing boost.
X-Wings, E-Wings. But here's the thing. Do you think they will use the opportunity provided by Rogue One? If anyone has seen Rogue One, turn your sound off now.
Yes.
Turn your sound off now.
Yeah,
yep.
no, spoilers for Rogue One.
Yep. But I loved Rogue One.
Blue Squadron.
Absolutely. Yeah. Blue Squadron. We now know why there wasn't a Blue Squadron at Yavin.
Yeah.
Because they'd all been killed and trapped under the shield gates.
Yeah.
But Blue Squadron, maybe make it an Aces pack for X-Wings. Some new pilots, add them in there, have an EPT generic, have a few more titles or modifications or something. Just something to give the X-Wing that boost it needs.
I agree. That's the sad thing, is that if they were to do that, we'd probably see like gold and a gold squadron and a blue squadron pack, and it makes me sad because it means we won't get an E-Wing related fix.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder about what they're going to do with that, because they fixed the Defender. It'd be kind of impractical not to fix the E-Wing as well.
Very much so. The E-Wing doesn't even have the Defender's white K-turn as a distinguishing feature.
No, they are really toolbox ships where you pay the points for them, but you then got to pay points to tool them up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Corran Horn can certainly top 50 points, can't he?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Very easily.
Very effectively, but it's a huge number of points as well. So,
hello, Annie. How can we help?
Are you live?
We are live, yes.
We are live.
We've just finished our battles, so...
okay.
If you're busy, that's fine. If you've got 5 minutes...
Okay,
that's up to you.
Okay, thanks, Andy. Sorry, that is Star Wars Armada, which I'm just starting to get into, and we're running a Corellian campaign
We've got 3 tables of Armada tonight. I'm really proud to see that, because usually it's dominated by X-Wing on Wednesdays.
Now, I think one of the reasons is, here's another thing I'd like to see for X-Wing, a campaign pack. Because I love X-Wing as a game. I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful in the way it works. It's lovely. There's huge variety, and at the moment the game is in a really good place. There's great balance. There's loads of different lists and list archetypes that work. But I think it is slightly a pity that the game is almost completely focused on the 100-point dogfight.
106. It's all the time.
Yeah.
And yet every big pack comes with a mission.
Yeah.
That they rarely get played.
The problem with the missions though, is they are not pick up and play missions. You have to bring along specific ships and specific builds, and then you've got to work out exactly what the mission does and all things like that. There's no generic, here's a capture the flag mission, here's a kill the enemy VIP ship mission, or anything else like that. And that's, I think, is one of the places where Armada really stands out, because the missions are built in right from the very start.
Yeah.
And I would love to see an X-Wing Corellian campaign type pack with some missions, things you have to play for, things you have to do other than just kill.
With Rogue One, I wouldn't be too surprised if we got something like that.
That would be very interesting. Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got something like that in the new year. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
PJ, I agree. We fully agree. Corran doesn't really need fixing, but there are ways you can mitigate that.
Now, it's interesting to note, the one thing I did do in my Epic game was take Itan Bat,
and
those crits started piling up. And he's one of those ships. In 100 points, you don't have enough points for other ships to make the best use of his ability.
But in Epic, he's really good.
Epic, the more ships you add that have range and arc on things he's got range and arc on, the harsher he gets.
Yeah, he
was a number one priority for my opponents there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I've talked about my idea for the E-Wing fix for a while as well, which is a 0-point title, gives you an extra astromech slot, makes your slot cheaper, but you are not allowed to take an astromech of 4 points or more, so there's only one astromech that cost R2-D2, and that would completely nix Corran's kind of archetype build.
Yes.
So I think that might be.
I think that might be interesting. I don't know, perhaps because part of the background is the R7 astromech was specifically designed for the E-Wing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So perhaps something like you get bonuses if you take an R7 astromech, and that would help the others without hitting Corran Horn that badly.
Maybe.
And then include some nice shiny R7 astromechs in the pack.
some brand new astromechs. That'd be brilliant.
Which could be taken by the ships, but work particularly well with the E-Wing.
I completely agree. I do think we need to see something for the E-Wing. I'll be honest, my hope is not high because of Rogue One. But
it's lower priority. Doesn't mean they won't get around to it.
Yeah.
And if they did the Defender, I think they can't not do the E-Wing at some point.
I completely agree with your statement.
Yeah, but you might have to wait a while.
Unfortunately. I love my E-wing. But yeah, so yeah,
I've rarely ever flown them actually.
There's a reason you rarely ever fly them. Because,
But I mean, I fly everything.
Yeah.
Unless it's a turret, then I will basically fly every ship around. I have no list archetypes I particularly go for.
Generics are too expensive. Etan's not worth it in 100 points. You get covered. There's just nothing going for
And
them.
then Corran Horn. The one thing I try and avoid doing is flying the obvious stuff. If everyone else is flying Corran Horn, I'm the one not flying Corran Horn. If everyone else is flying Defenders, I'm the one who's taken something completely different.
Yes. Well, I think that's a good place for us to round off for tonight. But we will be back tomorrow, which we're about 6:30 time. It'll be just me. You won't be here, Hedge.
No.
You'll be back in the booth this Saturday with us for the tournament.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow it's Gareth Chambers, David Lincoln, and Robin who'll be going through these 2 packs on the official release day. We'll be looking at the cards and
should we give people a quick sneak peek?
Sneak peek. There it is.
There
It's pristine packaging, and there you go. The U-wing again, still in its cellophane, so it's a bit shiny. But I love the design of the ship.
I want to see how the wings actually move because
Me too.
They do, don't they?
They do move.
Yes.
See, if this ship hadn't been made, I would have wanted a Raven's Claw as an upgrade. But I like this better. Although I love the Generic series, this is a very good design. I like it.
Absolutely, there's some interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Yes.
So yeah, those are what we're going through, and we do have a build-off tomorrow. Now, what we do for our unboxings, we not only unbox the ships, which of course takes hours because we port over every single card in the pack, which is kind of a standard for us,
and discuss various different builds and ways you can use them. And so on.
We have how long did we spend on Heroes of the Resistance?
3 hours.
3 hours on that one
like
pack,
that. Yep.
Which we won't be going 3 hours into these things each, but we'll keep it quick. But we do have a thing where every person builds a list for each of the 3 factions using stuff from one or both of these kits. And I have some lists, not all of them, but I have Robin's lists. So people can start thinking about what they want to vote for, because it is voted by the viewers which 2 lists will go head-to-head in the build-off tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So what have we got here? Well, first we have Robin's Rogue One stream, his Scum lists. Because although they're Rebel and Imperial, we do build for Scum to show that Scum can benefit from these packs.
Show off the upgrades, yes.
Exactly. He's proposed Bosk, the YV666, with Expertise, Gunner, K4 Security Dive, Forlom, an engine upgrade.
So the party bus, as it's often called.
The party bus with Expertise. With Bosk, those crits are going to really hurt.
Yeah, that could be painful.
Yeah, you don't need Glitterstone because you can just turn all your focuses to hits. Jumpmaster Dengar, which is Rage with Unhinged Astromech, Punishing One, and Inspiring Recruits.
Yeah. So that one's going to be interesting. I think Rage is going to see a resurgence. We're going to see more angry people on our streams.
Yes, I could probably actually get stress off Tycho now for a change. So that's the Scum build from him.
Yep.
We have the Imperial build, which of course, why wouldn't you? Duchess, the TIE Striker.
Yep.
With Veteran Instincts, License Frame, and Adaptability. With 2 TIE SFs. Quick Draw and Backdraft, both of them. Backdraft has Veteran Instincts, Fire Control System, Homing Missiles.
Now, I happen to know Jarvel has been playing around with his TIE SFs.
Yes.
Jarvel Robin is mostly a Rebel and a Scum player. Started out with Rebels, moved into Scum, but I think with the TIE SF, he's suddenly found the Imperial ship that fits him, that suits him. And so I think he's fallen in love with them, and I'm not surprised to see 2 of them in there.
Because they are built differently, slightly. Backdraft has Veteran Instincts to shove them up to, I believe it's 9.
Yeah, PS9. Level with Quick Draw.
Yeah, he has Fire Control System to get the target lock on attacks.
Yeah,
which helps with a double attack.
PJ Broughton, I think you might be thinking about Bosk Crew there. Bosk Crew gives you a stress token. Bosk Pilot is what Jarvel has put Expertise on.
Yes.
Bosk Pilot turns a crit into 2 hits. It doesn't involve an automatic stress.
Which with Expertise, you can shore up the other crits, and that's only looking at maybe 4 hits total.
Yeah, potentially so.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have Homing Missiles, Pattern Analyzer, and guidance chips. So he's got a missile ordnance on there. Unusual for a TIE SF.
Yeah, that is interesting, yes. I think possibly the idea is to make it dangerous in front and behind.
Yes. And Quick Draw has got Crackshot, and it's exactly the same as Backdraft. Home missile, fire control, special forces, and guidance ships.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
I'm curious to see how that one would play out. Maybe we'll see it tomorrow. Well, maybe we'll see.
Absolutely.
Then of course you have to have a striker in there because you want to show off this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole point.
And then the Rebels, which I really like this one.
Go for it.
It's Cassian Andor, the new U-wing pilot.
Yep.
With Swarm Leader.
Yes. So
Fire-
you can take evade tokens from up to 2 friends to add extra dice.
Yep. He has fire control system. Ray to store the focus tokens.
Yep.
And pivot wing, because of course he can then turn around on a dime.
Yep.
What he's paired him with is interesting. It's a ghost, the VCX 100 with Kanan Jarrus,
evade.
which can pull an evade token.
Yep.
With fire control, so he doesn't need to target lock. Twin laser turret.
Yep.
Jyn Erso.
Oh, interesting. I think I would have thought he'd have gone for Chopper, so he can still evade after a Kato.
He also has Chopper on there as well.
Yes.
He's doubled up. So yeah, and experimental interface.
That's potentially a lot of stress on there.
A lot of stress, but it could be worth it.
It might well be, yes.
And to fill out points, a prototype Chan refit A-wing.
Okay, because it can evade.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. That one, I think, that sounds really fascinating.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put my vote in immediately for that one. Given I can't actually watch the stream live tomorrow.
Yeah, I do actually have another one, which is by David, which is he only plays Rebel, so he's only made a Rebel list, but it's different ships. It's actually nearly all the same. Bodhi Rook as the U-wing pilot.
Okay.
With sensor jammer,
Yeah.
anti-pursuit lasers,
Yep.
inspiring recruit, Baze Malbus, pivot wing. That's all. That's on the U-wing. So it's a loaded up U-wing there, and Chopper as the VCX pilot with auto blaster turret, fire control system, ion projector,
Yep.
Harrison Dula, and Zeb Aurelios.
Interesting.
As well as the Ghost title. And of course, because he has the Ghost title, what does he have equipped? An attack shuttle with Ezra Bridger on board. So there is that. I think he's more thinking of the double tap more than anything.
Yes.
We will see how that flies out.
That'll be interesting.
So
yes.
those are the 4 lists that are currently up for vote on the...
I'm definitely going to go for Jarvel Robbins' Rebel list. I want to see that what is it? It's the EPT. What's it called? Sorry, my mind's gone
Swarm
blank.
Swarm Leader.
Swarm
sorry.
Leader. I really want to see Swarm Leader in action.
Yeah,
that sounds fascinating.
That's going to be the big one.
And it'll give us a glimpse of the U-wing as well.
Agreed. Best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
Don't forget, viewers, that that's actually 2 votes you get, because you get to vote for both the primary list and the secondary that you want to see take against each other. So, yeah.
Okay, well, given I can't tune in tomorrow, please take that as my vote.
I certainly will take that as your vote. I don't know if I'll have to discuss whether we can actually do that, but we'll certainly look at that. But that's been enough from us tonight, I think.
Yeah.
We have, of course, our stream tomorrow, which should be around 6:30ish, depends
Good
what time
luck.
we'll get here. And then, of course, Saturday is the big day.
Yep.
10:30's kick-off. Whether we actually kick off at 10:30 is another question. Usually it tends to bleed over till 11, but hopefully we'll be on time on Saturday.
Yep.
And it's a very small 24-man tournament. So it should be nice contained, and I'm hoping for a big meta shake-up.
I think we can safely say that we're going to be looking for lists that include some of these lovely new toys.
I certainly will be looking and featuring lists from
top
those.
table for the last round.
Most likely.
We won't have a cut, but it's always good to see what
Yeah,
the...
last round will be top table. We'll definitely suit for that, unless it's something boring, but I doubt we'll see something boring.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
we'll keep an eye out for these.
Yeah. I want it.
Yes. Shall I leave you two alone?
No, because I don't want to. I wouldn't want to admit what I would do with it. I'd just rip into it, but I can't. No, they're available tomorrow, and you can pick them up from as soon as we open at 11 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, they're available to buy. $27.99 for the U-wing and $13.99 for the TIE Striker. So they're available at your friendly local game store, which hopefully is us.
Indeed.
And we will see you tomorrow, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you've enjoyed the stream, and we hope we've been entertaining.
Fingers crossed.
I like to try my best. I like to think I'm entertaining in some regard. I'm entertaining to look at, I think. Not from...
No comment. No comment.
Look at those funny faces.
Hey, I'm not much better. But you didn't tune in to watch us. You tuned in to watch the spaceships, and we hope we've given you a Skyfall of spaceships tonight.
So, we'll see you soon, everyone. My name's been Alec Baker.
I'm Andrew the Hedgehog Castley.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. And now I've got to figure out how to switch this off. Is it this?
Yeah, let's go to the outro screen.
Okay.